All right, guys and girls, check this out. I've got the floor in place. It's not welded in, but it's in place, ready to have me start fitting up for the wheel tub. So let's check this out. You can see I got the braces in there as well. It'd be nice to be able to see them all. It's kind of challenging. So I've got the start to a plan for building these wheel tubs fresh. I think we got the two pieces here. We'll get a zoom in on them in a sec here. I got the top and the side. I think what I'm going to do is start by building this curve right here, and we're going to start by working on the passenger side. I think that's what we'll do. So that's the right hand side of this vehicle. Probably get a bit of the shapes made, maybe get them slightly bent up, and then we'll put it in the hammer forming shapes into them. I think that's what we'll do, is get them all shaped up. I'll show you what I mean here. So it's upside down. This is the passenger side one. And this is that piece. So I need this curve. I think I'm going to overlay a piece of cardboard onto here, then transfer that shape onto here, put the curve in there, bend it all up, and there'll be a little bit of welding involved. Then it'll have to get a bit of a notch cut here where it needs to be bent, because it's got to take like a 45-degree bend. That piece will be done at that point. And then we got to also do the side panel, which requires another angle put into it, and the bottom needs to have a couple notches in there like that. So that's my plan, and we'll work with that. So my first step is getting, as I said, this curve in here. I've got the paper template on there. I've cut it to shape. We're going to just lay it on here now. Here's the cut I made. It matches. So now I'm going to take these tabs here, bend them in, and cut off the excess. So that's the idea there. Gotta weld it into place once I know it's gonna fit right. So we'll get everything kind of formed. I'll probably just tack it once I've got it close. We gotta test fit it in the truck before we solid weld that. All right, so I got a pattern here that I can transfer to this piece of steel. And I copied it off of there. You can see that. So that should fit in the truck. We should probably just have a quick look at it, eh? So for perspective, this guy is going to go right here. Should work pretty nice. Alright, so I've tweaked a little bit of this design. I know this isn't exactly what I see in images of what other guys sell, but this is how I'm going to be doing it. This changes here over this angle. I'm going to guess this angle's here because the one in the truck, the flange where this will weld to, sits at a bit of an angle. I'm going to have mine straight coming down to the floor. And same thing here. If you look at this design, you can see where it used to be. I'm going to have it sit down here. I'm not sure the reasoning for that, but the way it fits in my truck is like this. So pull it off. I'm going to cut it out. And I'm going to be cutting a line here, and it'll be just this little triangle coming out of here is my goal. So I can still fold this back onto itself. Get a little curve in there. I'm not sure if I'll be able to cut it this way. I might have to just cut it right off and then weld a piece in after. But either way, it will work. All right, so we got it cut out. I'm gonna hammer this flange down using a body hammer that looks like this. Alright, so on this piece here is the other side. I've got a curve. I'll get you guys in here to check it out. So on this side, we got that curve. This is why I cut it like this. So I'll bend it around, I'll cut off the excess. So I got this rounded dolly and this hammer again. So there it is, nice and simple. We'll weld it up yet, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna get everything bolted in the truck now before we do any hammer forming. Get them all kind of, the screws lined up where they need to be, and get them test fit up into the vehicle. And then while it's in there, I can tack weld some of these things as well. So we got these. They're gonna fit. I won't be able to show you fully. Grab the right size, but I won't be able to show you fully because it's got to take a bend before it fits. The idea is it's going to fit here, kind of. This template here is going to go in here to measure from this flange to this flange. That's that. Then we got this one here. It's going to bolt here, in place like that. So yeah, probably gonna have to make some tweaks in here yet, but that's kind of the idea. Making good progress here, guys and girls. Got the bend in there. So the other side. And I found to make this bend, these bars actually work wonderful. And I had to do a couple tweaks. I had to lower this down so it was at further and level in the vehicle. And this corner needed a bit more tweaking to get it right. All right, let's do a test fit here. Maybe this one's coming from the bottom. So that's pretty close. Yeah, I'm gonna start by putting a couple screws in here, then probably figure out where this needs to go, and we'll put a couple tacks in there. I don't want to weld it to the truck though, that's the thing at this point. I guess the other thing is this really could be welded on while it's in here later. So I'm not too concerned about getting that right. But we should clamp this thing down. Actually, clamps won't do it. We're gonna have to screw it down. So I'm going to finish setting this up, and then I'm going to take a look more at some of this stuff, and I'll show you guys when I'm done. Well, one side is fully screwed into place. It is fitting very nicely, and I know I'm at the right height because I took my measurement off of here, and I started by screwing this top plate down to here. And then this one came after. Fits awesome. We'll get a close-up in a second. But this is a big step. This makes this look pretty finished. We're going to go do the same thing on the other side in a little bit. Then I'll take them out and I'll build a little bit of a buck to do the bead rolling. Or not the bead rolling. We'll build a hammer form buck to do hammer forming on these guys. So let's have a close-up look at this. So you can see how nicely that fits. Yeah, and I'm thinking like this fits flush here. I think we're gonna weld this on at the very end when it's sitting in the vehicle. Why not? All right, so sometimes it's about using what you got to make something, even though it's probably not the right tool. And I bet you even there's some big name shops that will do such. For example, we have this curve here. This piece does not. See, I've got a notch put in there already. I'm not sure if it's picking it up. There's a notch. So here's what it's gonna do. I found this bar on here is right for putting the bend in. And we gotta get it the right way. It's gotta go down. Oh, and I've drawn Sharpie on here. So, here we go. Okay, so let's not get too carried away. What are we doing? So you can see it's come a ways, but I gotta fill up about 1.25 inches here. No problem. This way now. There, that is very workable. So I should be able to fit in the truck. I'm going to do a little bit more just to get the tension out of here, and then I got to hammer this down. It's getting pretty close. There, I'm gonna call that. We'll call that good. It's time to test fit it. So, we got both tubs in here now. It's interesting too, a side note, I can hear the metal ringing now that there's more metal in here, which is kind of neat. It's sending an echo back my way. But that's not the important part. The important part is this tub is in and that tub is in. Test fit. Now we can start making the bucks for hammer forming. And even like this, it's neat to see because there was nothing really resembling a Toyota to see before that. So yeah, you saw the time lapse and you saw me do the bending and the installing. So let's get on to building those wood pieces. These can sit here for a little bit. Beauty shots.